Due to circumstances beyond their control, many Oklahoma young people will not celebrate the holidays with family. They may be in foster care or they may be homeless. Tulsa Youth Services seeks out young people who are living on the streets and is seeing success in giving hope and a future for thousands who have fallen through the cracks in Oklahoma's social services.
A Thanksgiving dinner was served recently to a number of kids who stopped by the drop-in center at Youth Services of Tulsa. For them, the actual holiday was of no real consequence. Getting some food was.
So they can always come and get a hot meal, and a lot of times our youth, that's the only meal they've had all day.
Youth Services' Sarah Frammel says most of the kids who drop in live on the streets by day and some at night.
Some youth are staying at adult shelters like the Salvation Army Day Center, John 3. Others are literally sleeping outside under bridges. Some at times will sleep on our sidewalks even because it's really the only place that they've felt safe. We have many that stay in abandoned houses, parking garages, things like that, especially with the cold coming. Those parking garages and abandoned houses are pretty popular because they kind of block that wind.
Brian Young is Community Relations Coordinator at Youth Services.
Specifically for our street outreach program, which focuses on homeless youth, we reached 671 youth, and we believe the number that came out of the foster care program was probably about a third of that.
In 2016, 278 young people aged out of foster care when they turned 18. As adults, they were no longer the responsibility of the Department of Human Services. During their time in state custody, the kids might have been in and out of several foster homes. DHS statistics show that in the last year, more than 2,600 youth ages 13 through 17 had an average number of 7 different placements.
Multiple placements is a pretty common theme. Someone might have been placed numerous times through the foster care program, and they just didn't make strong family connections during that time and aged out basically without a family support system like most of us would have as we hit our young adult years.
Denisha was homeless for several months and knows what the kids on the street are facing.
I went homeless in the wintertime, and it was cold that year, and that was just the hardest part. It was, I tried to stay warm.
Youth Services has a short-term shelter limited to 20 beds. David Grew is the executive director of Youth Services of Tulsa.
We also provide shelter services for kids within the foster care system. On any given day, that's the largest part of our population. As young people transition from one foster home to another, or for some reason things don't work out in the foster home that they were in.
Blackbird, who grew up in an Indian boarding school, was homeless up until recently.
I was sleeping outside most of the time.
And where would you go, and did you have...
I slept on top of buildings, honestly.
Because that was a safe...
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about anybody stealing my stuff while I was asleep, so...
With Youth Services' help, Blackbird is no longer homeless, and he has a job with T-Town Tacos. The program was launched by Youth Services in April. So far, 9 have taken part. The workday starts before dawn when they make the breakfast tacos, and it continues through the late morning as the young people sell them on the sidewalks of downtown.
2 veggie?
2 veggies. $6, please.
Wes Rose oversees the operation.
The community response has been incredible. Maybe the most humbling part of this has been the reaction from the downtown community towards what we do and our tacos we make.
Rose says as profits continue to grow, they plan on expanding to reach more young people. Youth Services is also helping kids land other jobs in the community and is doing a lot to put roofs over their heads.
Youth Services owns 4 apartment complexes in the community, and so that program, the youth get their very own apartment. They get a case manager that they come and meet with, or we meet them at their apartment. At least once a week, they work with a employment specialist.
This is the kitchen.
Ariel, who has a job, just got her own place, but like many others, she had to wait for a space to open.
It's really nice to be able to set my own boundaries and not be able to, not have people constantly around me.
She's crossing her fingers for a donor to fulfill her holiday wish list this year by taking part in the Gifts of Hope program.
Well, a vacuum. I don't have a vacuum. And just little things for the house.
Youth Services says some 400 kids are awaiting gifts from donors. Requests include necessities, Unfortunately, for those who don't have an address to call home, those requests will include sleeping bags and tents.